Hi, everyone. Thanks for coming tonight. I'm Melissa Burke. I'm the Director of Pre-Kindergarten Education for Portland Public Schools. I'm just going to take a second to share my screen so I can use a presentation with all of you. So what I was going to say is that the only criteria for admission is that your child be born between the dates in October. We do give priority enrollment to certain students in the lottery process. And so those are students who live in Portland, who are experiencing homelessness or experiencing foster care. And then after that, we give priority enrollment to students who live in Portland. So families who live outside of Portland are welcome to apply, but they would only be offered a seat in the program if we've been able to provide a spot for all Portland residents first. So I wanted to talk a little bit about how the pre-K lottery process works. So applications for the lottery will be accepted from January 9th, which is this coming Monday, through January 27th, which is a Friday several weeks later. Applying to the lottery offers the best chance of getting a spot in the pre-K program. So what happened this past year is that every student who applied in the initial lottery window was offered a spot, either right away or once a couple of families had let us know that their plans had changed. So it does offer the best chance of getting in. Applications are available in multiple languages on the PPS website. There's a link here that I'm going to use to show you the application that you can find. So if you scroll down to the bottom of this page, right now you can see the link for this current school year. So this is for 2022 to 23. And you can see that the application is available in multiple languages. You click on the language that you're interested in applying in, and then click this button here so that you can actually submit an application. Beginning on Monday, you'll find an application on this page that will be available to apply for next year's lottery for the 2023 to 24 school year. The PPS Multilingual Center is also available to support any family who needs assistance with their application. And you can go to 353 Cumberland Avenue if you would like support, or call directly. If students do not get a spot in the lottery, they'll be added to a wait list. Families have the choice to be on the wait list. And then if a spot becomes available, because say a family moves away and leaves an empty spot, then we'll contact you and offer you that spot from the wait list. We also do allow families to continue to apply to the program at any time. So if you want to submit an application after January 27th, you can do so, and your name will automatically be added to the wait list. Once you're offered a spot, we'll begin the enrollment process. And so the first part of that is to complete forms and provide some documents. So all families will be asked to provide a birth certificate, proof of residence, and an immunization record. We also ask for students to participate in child find screening. So this is a screening that we do to determine if a child might benefit from special education services. And as part of that, we ask families to complete a questionnaire, and we ask students to attend a short play group with classroom teachers so that we can get to know them and get a sense of what their needs are. We also ask multilingual families to complete an intake process that includes a pre-LAS assessment. So that lets us know how proficient a student is in English, and also to complete a family interview. So this is a list of the classrooms that we anticipate having in the pre-K program next year. We have classrooms in multiple elementary schools and also at partner sites. So the elementary, Rowe Elementary, East End Community School, Talbot, Lyseth, Longfellow, Peaks Island, and we will also anticipate having a program at Reiki next year. The partner site programs are early childhood programs in the city of Portland where we have pre-K classrooms. And those are at Catherine Morrill Day Nursery, St. Elizabeth's, Portland Arts and Technology High School, and Youth and Family Outreach. Some of the classrooms that we have are paired so that there are 2 classrooms in a school, and at other sites we have just 1 classroom. This is a list of the program hours. So we have early start schools, and those programs run from 7:40 to 2:10 each day. You get out an hour early on Wednesdays. The early start schools are East End Community School, Children's Odyssey, and Talbot Community School. We also have late start schools, and this is the majority of our classrooms, which run from 9 to 3:30 and get out at 2:30 on Wednesdays. And those are at Rowe, Catherine Morrill, Lyseth, Longfellow, Paths, Presumpscot, Reiki, St. E's, and Youth and Family Outreach. And finally, the Peaks Island program runs from 8:20 to 3:05 and is dismissed at 12:30 on Wednesdays. Yeah. We do provide some limited transportation for families to the pre-K program. So this is not something that we offer for every student, but we have been successful in providing it for just about every family who needs it to participate in the program. So transportation may be available to students who attend the neighborhood elementary school, to students who are placed at a partner site in the neighborhood where they live. So for example, Youth and Family Outreach is in the Reiki neighborhood, and so there's transportation available for students who live in that neighborhood to go to Youth and Family Outreach. It's also available for students from Ocean Avenue Elementary because they don't have a pre-K program at that school, and so transportation is available to partner sites for those students in the neighborhood. We also have transportation that's available for children who are placed at Children's Odyssey, who live anywhere in the district. Transportation is not available for students who are placed at elementary schools outside of their neighborhood. It's also not available for students placed at partner sites outside of their neighborhood or for students placed at Peaks Island School. When you fill out the application, there will be a question asking whether you need transportation to participate in the program. If you answer no, then your child will be considered for a spot in any of the programs. And if you answer yes, then your child will be considered for a spot in the neighborhood school or at a partner site that is also in your neighborhood where transportation could be available. This school year, about a third of the students in pre-K receive transportation. And we were really happy that we could meet almost everyone's needs. I think it was very helpful that families who could transport their child were very willing to do so. And so that made room for students who needed transportation. Another component of the program that we should talk about is before and after school care. So we don't offer before and after school care as part of our program. It's just a school day program, but we do try to match families with available programs in the community. The options that exist are different site to site, but they could include a program that's happening on site at either a partner site or an elementary school, or an off-site program that a child could take the school bus to after school, or that a provider even might pick up from. And so those are at center-based childcare programs and family-based childcare programs. There's a question on the application that asks whether you need before and after school care. And so if you indicate that you do, then we'll try to match you with a spot that has an available option for before and after school care. And then we'll be able to give you information about that program and how to contact them and set up that service. Another thing that I want to talk about is support for students with disabilities in the program. So our program is fully inclusive. We do Child Find for all students. And so this is the process where we screen all students to determine if they qualify to be referred to Child Developmental Services for a special education evaluation. If when we do that screening, it indicates the need for referral, families are then able to decide if that's something that they want to proceed forward with. And we're available to answer any questions that you would have about that. If a student has an IEP or becomes eligible for an IEP while they're in pre-K, They are able to attend any of our pre-K classrooms. Students with IEPs can receive all of their special education services at school. So there are speech therapists, occupational therapists, physical therapists, and special educators who go to every classroom to provide those services. We provide a lot of those services through an agreement with CDS. And then we also do have a classroom at Children's Odyssey, which is a special purpose classroom. And this is for students with disabilities whose IEPs are written for a smaller classroom that is specifically taught by a special education teacher. So this classroom is just for students who fit this description. The program also provides a lot of support for students learning English. So we have the PPS Multilingual and Multicultural Center, which will screen all multilingual students to determine if they're fluent in English. It will also do an interview with families to determine which language will be used for spoken and written communication between the family and the pre-K program. And then once students are enrolled in programs, there are services for dual language learners. So these services are available in every classroom in the pre-K program. They're provided for any multilingual student who is acquiring English and include instruction from a DLL pre-K teacher who's certified in ESOL. And these services take place in the classroom so students don't miss anything that's important or fun. So often what they get is extra support and practice from a teacher who's available to help them learn language and provide some individualized attention to them in the classroom. So I want to talk a little bit about the goals of the pre-K program. I think the most important thing is that for a lot of kids, this is the first time they've ever been away from their home and their family. And so our most important goal is to provide a happy first experience in school. We really strive to create strong and positive relationships with teachers and classmates. We give kids opportunities to learn through play and through teacher-led activities. And then we also, hope to provide excellent caregiving. So there are meals provided, students have breakfast, lunch, and a snack. There's a daily rest time, and then there's lots of time to play outside. We help students learn new skills to be able to participate in a group, play with others and make friends, and attend to learning activities in the classroom so that they enjoy school and are prepared for kindergarten. And actually, very recently, the district completed a video about pre-K, which I'm going to show to you now. And it will give you a better sense of what the program is like and what some of the goals are.
Teaching content and practices in kindergarten through grade 12 are guided by a common core set of standards known as the Maine Learning Results.
Alyssa, we're not seeing that. We're only seeing the program hour slide, and some of the participants are saying that.
Okay.
I do have that video.
Grace, you also have the video. Are you able to share it?
I don't have a link. So do you want to, I think you need to close down the slide to show the video.
Can you see it now?
Okay, right. Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Great.
Thank you.
Pre-K programs also follow a set of standards designed around children's development. These standards are called the Maine Early Learning and Developmental Standards, or MELDS. The MELDS are organized into 9 different areas of learning and development: social and emotional development, approaches to learning, creative arts, early language and literacy, reading standards and literature, physical development, and health, math, science, and social studies. In this overview, we will briefly discuss 5 of these key areas and how we address them within our pre-K classroom activities and routines. Pre-K classrooms are rich in activities that help children develop their oral language and literacy skills. During the whole class story readings, teachers explain new vocabulary and connect those to children's lives and classroom activities. Children also explore books on their own and with their friends. These experiences allow for rich conversations and help children learn to ask questions that support their understanding of the reading material. Opportunities for writing exploration also happen throughout the pre-K day. In pre-K classrooms, teachers provide materials and activities that create interest and excitement for learning about math and numbers. During block play, children are learning to measure, build, and balance. Through play and use of interesting materials, children experiment with sorting, matching, and counting items. Through art activities and exploration, children learn to use various materials safely and in age-appropriate ways. Children work independently as well as in groups. They learn in different ways, express their thoughts, and demonstrate their creativity. In pre-K, children are encouraged to engage in dramatic play, where they can express and build on their understanding of both pretend and real-life experiences. Children also learn to follow class rules and routines, make friends, take turns, and develop a sense of belonging within their pre-K community. Through play, children learn to show empathy for each other and help their friends when needed. Teachers work with children to identify their feelings and learn various ways to safely express what they are feeling to others. Throughout their day in pre-K, children learn basic safety rules for playing in a group and participating in different games and activities. Teachers provide children with opportunities that increase children's coordination, balance, and strength, both in the classroom and outside on the playground. For example, to help children build hand strength, coordination needed for writing, children practice stringing beads and working with Play-Doh. Now that we have shared some information on what pre-K learning looks like in the classroom, we want to empower families to carry over this work at home. There are some simple ways to continue your pre-K students' learning at home. Here are some examples. You can help build your child's vocabulary, expand on conversation skills, and understand new concepts by looking at and discussing pictures and stories in books, magazines, and newspapers, or online with your child. Adults telling stories is a great way to build literacy skills at home with children. By repeating the same book and retelling the same story, children deepen their understanding and begin telling stories on their own. Math and counting work can be built into so many home routines. You can ask your children to help you count how many people are in your family, how many will be eating a meal together, how many plates, cups, or utensils you might need for a meal. When doing laundry, you can count socks, match socks. You can use words like big, small, long, short to describe different size and clothing. When children bring artwork home from school, ask them about what they made, how they made it, and what they liked best about their work. Creating opportunities for art at home can involve dancing, singing, and creating songs, as well as drawing and constructing with paper and writing materials. When talking to your child about their own feelings, share how you are feeling and why. This will help children to understand what they are feeling and the different ways of expressing them. Having children take turns for things like choose a book to read, or play a game, or watch a television show helps them learn to wait and take turns with others. When you are home together, encourage your child to practice dressing and undressing on their own, including putting on and taking off their own shoes or boots. Other ways to build movement into your child's daily routine might include dancing to a favorite song, moving like a different animal, or carrying items to different rooms in your home. We hope this video gives you a better understanding of Maine's early learning standards and that you use some of the sample activities with your child. Carrying over the learning that happens at school to activities that you do with your child at home is a good practice for advancing your child's development.
Great. Thanks, everybody. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of a sense of what the classrooms are like and what some of the activities are that would happen there. I am very happy to answer questions that anybody has at this point. I think probably there are some in the chat.
There are questions in the Q&A.
So the first question, Alyssa, is would my son who was born on October 3rd, 2018 be eligible for pre-K? We will not be sending him to kindergarten this year.
No. So your child will not be eligible for pre-K because your child is already 5 and eligible for kindergarten.
Is there a reason pre-K is a late start for Longfellow rather than following their early start for all other grades?
I think it's a mistake in the presentation that it's an early start then. It will be a new program, so it will follow the Longfellow school schedule.
And Alyssa, I'm not sure that you introduced yourself as the pre-K director.
Oh, I did at the beginning. So I'm Alyssa Burke, and I'm the director of pre-K education for PPS.
Is there any question in our multilingual rooms? Will my child have any preference on their siblings' school?
We will try to match your child as best we can to a school that they can attend. And so if we have multiple options available and there's a sibling at one, then we definitely would select that for you. It's not always the case, though, that we can match your child to the school that the siblings are at. We definitely do try to do that whenever possible. And I think that there's a question about whether there's a preference for the neighborhood that you live in, even if you don't need transportation. And the answer is yes. Whenever possible, we will match you to your neighborhood school. We also, for students who already attend the partner sites that we work with, so kids who go to YFO or Catherine Morrill or St. Elizabeth's now for childcare, we would allow those students to continue in those programs as well.
When will we be alerted on lottery results?
You'll learn the results of the lottery by the end of the first week in March. And we have found that this time schedule works fairly well. Most childcare programs ask families to commit in mid-March to the following school year. So you should have information from us about whether or not you have a spot before that.
My son was dropped out, so do I need to register him again?
I'm not sure I understand the question. I think maybe it means that you applied to the lottery already, and that your child wasn't old enough when you applied. And the answer is yes, you would need to reapply this year. We do sometimes have students who apply with the wrong date of birth, and we don't keep those applications for the following year. So if you're interested in having your child attend school next year, you need to complete a lottery application.
Shem has a question that came through in the chat, and it says, if my daughter is 3 years and 9 months, is she eligible for pre-K?
No, your daughter is not eligible for pre-K this year, but for next year would be. So you can apply in the lottery because your daughter will be 4 in time to be eligible.
Thank you.
And same question, another question about lottery results being known. Is there aftercare and bus service?
Yeah, so there are some sites which offer before and after care. And so we know about programs that are available in each neighborhood for before and after care. And if you need before and after care, then we can let you know about those programs.
And isn't that a question in the application as well?
It is a question. Yep. So you will be asked whether you need or would prefer before and after care. And if you indicate that you would want to participate in that program, then we will match you with a provider. And in terms of bus service, there is transportation for students who need it to participate in the program, but it is limited. We don't have transportation for all students. So we ask a question in the application about whether you require transportation to participate in the program. And then we provide, a placement based on those responses. You do have a much better chance of getting a spot, unfortunately, if you don't need transportation, because then your child could attend more of the classroom settings. So you would have a chance for any of those programs.
If I want my child to attend a school in my neighborhood, do I need to select yes for needs transportation? And then am I obligated to put them on a bus rather than driving them?
If you want your child to attend the school in your neighborhood only, you should apply to the lottery. You should put whatever the actual answer is to the transportation question. So if you need transportation, then you should say yes. And if you don't need transportation, then you should say no. We will then offer you a spot. And if it's in a spot in a program that you don't want, you then could decline it or ask to be put on the wait list just for your neighborhood school.
Since there is no program at Ocean, is there a location that Ocean Ave children end up going together?
Yes. So students who live in the Ocean Ave neighborhood who are off Peninsula are placed at the PATHS program. So that's at Portland Arts and Technology High School. And students who live in the Ocean neighborhood on Peninsula can attend partner sites or the program at Reiki.
Is the curriculum pre-K for me, Maine?
Yes, the curriculum that's used is pre-K for me. This is a curriculum that's widely used in the state of Maine that is research-based, and it provides opportunities for children to learn social emotional skills, motor skills, academic concepts like verse, counting, and also help support memory and attention and other forms of cognitive development.
How much time will pre-K children spend outdoors?
The answer is a little bit different depending on which classroom you go to, but everyone is outside for at least an hour.
Do our child have to be potty trained?
No, your child does not have to be potty trained for you to apply or for your child to attend the program. We certainly appreciate it if that's something that you're trying to do with your child at home, because it's helpful for them, but children who are not potty trained are able to attend.
There is a Portuguese question, Juliana. My Portuguese is limited. I couldn't read it. Could you put it in the chat so I can repeat the question? If you go to, there's a Oaks Park Portuguese. My daughter will be 2 in March. Does she qualify?
No, she will not qualify. She'll be too young, but you can apply the following year.
What are the typical teacher-student ratios?
So each classroom has a teacher and also an ed tech, and the classrooms are limited to 16 students. So it's 1 teacher for every 8 students. There are also times when students have special needs, and there might be an additional teacher in the classroom to help support them.
When will testing be?
We will screen children in the end of January and in February. And then if there are children who apply later on, then we'll screen them as they become eligible for the program.
How large is the pool of applicants in each of the low-income and not low-income segments? How large is the pool of accepted students in each?
Yeah, that's a great question. So 55% of the students who are given spots are low income and 45% are not low income. How big the pool is really can vary from year to year. Last year, 55% of the applicants were not low income and 45% were low income.
I have a question. My daughter was born on February 1. She's eligible to be in pre-care, pre-K care.
She is eligible if in February, a month from now, she's turning 4.
Do you know if Lyseth offers before and after care for pre-K?
Lyseth does not have a program that offers before and after care for pre-K, but there are a couple of programs in the neighborhood who are willing to take pre-K students for before and after care. And so if you apply to the program and are selected for Lyseth School, then we can give you the information for those programs.
There's another question in the multilingual rooms. Are parents allowed to volunteer sometimes in a classroom for their child?
Yes, we are happy to have parents volunteer at school. Thanks. That's a great question.
Is lunch or snack provided by school?
So we provide breakfast, a snack, and lunch.
What are the regular hours? You show the early start and late start times.
Those are the regular hours. So we have schools that we refer to as early start schools, and those schools run from 7:40 to 2:10. And then later start schools in the district run from 9 o'clock to 3:30. So if your child is admitted through the lottery, they would be assigned either to a school that's open 7:40 to 2:10 or to a school that's open from 9 to 3:30.
Is before and after care the same structure provided for K-5 at those schools that have that? Like rec at East End?
It is not. The rec program is K-5. And so there are other programs in the community that are open to 4-year-olds that we can provide information about for you.
Can we request a location outside of our neighborhood so that it's closer to work?
Yes, you can submit your application, and you certainly could send us an email if you would like us to consider other information.
We have a program for childcare right now, and I know that my child is eligible for the next pre-K program, but because she is 3 and will turn 4 on September 18. I am right?
You are right. Your child is eligible for pre-K, and so you should apply during the lottery window between January 9th and January 27th. And we do not have a program for children under the age of 4, unfortunately.
How are families navigating having kids in 2 different school times, like Ocean and Paths?
Yeah, that's tricky. I think it doesn't often come up that we have that situation. There are some families who can manage that. Certainly, you can send us an email after you apply if that would be a concern for you, and we can do our best to match you with a program that would have an earlier start.
Any consideration given to siblings and different school start and end times if they are placed separately?
I think that's the same thing. So typically, we strive to place kids in their neighborhood school, and that happens most of the time. On the occasions that we can't, we certainly, can try to find a school placement that has the same times. We do have a policy in place. So if you are in 2 different programs, because you have siblings in different schools that have the same times, you would drop off your elementary age child first, and then your pre-K student who is allowed to be a little late to the program. And then you would pick up your elementary student first and then come pick up your pre-K student. So we understand that you can't be in 2 places at once, and have, some things that we can do to help support families around that if we are in the situation where we can't have kids in the same school.
What are the learning standards website to use to prepare my child for pre-K?
So we use the Maine Early Learning Standards, which you can find on the Maine Department of Education website. And I think in terms of preparation for pre-K, we really are not expecting kids to have any set of skills when they come to us. We're happy to have all students, and our goal is to help them learn to have a happy first experience at school and be able to be part of a group and make friends. So I think the thing that is best for kids in terms of preparation is just to have their families be excited for them, and to do their best to make a relationship with their teacher and communicate to their child that they're happy for them, that they're going to have this experience.
Is the aftercare cost based on the location where they attend?
Yes. So the cost of aftercare would be dependent on what the provider charges. And so there are providers who charge tuition, and there are also providers who accept childcare assistance. And so this is assistance that's available through the state for families who qualify. So not all programs require that families pay out of pocket.
What percent of people who enter the lottery get offered a spot?
So this last year, everybody was offered a spot. Most people were offered a spot in the first round, and then some people were offered a spot later. So they were put on a waiting list. And then when we heard from families that their plans had changed for some reason, like they were moving out of state, a spot became available and we were able to offer it to families who previously hadn't gotten one. So you do have a very good chance of getting a spot if you apply during the initial lottery window.
So there's another question in our multilingual rooms. My daughter will be 5 years old in November. Does she qualify for
Yes. Your daughter is the right age, so you should definitely apply.
Will be 5 in November.
Mm-hmm. Because she'll be 4 when the school year starts.
Is it okay to bring your own lunch or snack to school?
Yes, absolutely. There are definitely families who prefer to do that, or kids who prefer to do that, and that's fine.
Is it possible to apply at the school instead?
Yes. If you already have a child who's attending school and you have a relationship with the school, you're welcome to go there and ask somebody to help you with the application if you need support. If you're able to fill out the application on the website, then we ask that you do that.
Our neighborhood school is Talbot. If we do get into Talbot, is swimming part of the pre-K program?
No, swimming is not part of the pre-K program at Talbot.
If a child is accepted this year, could they be denied for a second year? My son will not be old enough for kindergarten after 1 year of pre-K.
If your child is not old enough for kindergarten after 1 year of pre-K, then they won't be eligible for the program next year. So the program is for children who are 4 by October 15th. So that would mean going to a preschool for a year if you wanted to, and then applying for the following year to go to pre-K.
So even if that is not old enough for kindergarten, I think that's the question.
That's not old enough.
My son will not be old enough for kindergarten after 1 year of pre-K. So,
right. So then your son is not old enough for pre-K next year.
Okay. What email or phone will we use to ask questions about pre-K?
You can email me at bourqa@portlandschools.org.
I think all those, I'm Grace Valenzuela, I'm the communications director. So once we open the applications live, that will be on the website. And there are also other information on that site that lets you know who to contact and all of that information. So check the Portland Public Schools website and go to under academics, and there's this specific page for pre-K. Do children need to attend every day, or can they only attend 4 days a week?
It's a 5-day program, so we do expect that children would attend every day. The only exception to that would be a child who cannot attend full-time for medical reasons.
Can you give us an idea of the daily schedule?
Yes, absolutely. So children arrive at school. They wash their hands when they come into the classroom and put their belongings away. They have a meal, so breakfast with their whole class together at the tables. And usually they'll hear a story or have a conversation together while they're eating. So they all sit around a rug with the teacher and hear a story and learn about what they're going to do that day. They then have about a full hour to play in the classroom. So the classroom has all different areas, the block area, the dramatic play area, the easel where children can paint. And children are able to go to any area that interests them and play there. We also, after that, will have a second circle. And then children will have small group work. And so this is work that they might do at a table with just a few children at a time, learning a new concept or skill. They then go outside for about an hour, come in, we'll have lunch and have rest time. So we do have a rest time for at least half an hour. Some of the children sleep at 4 and some of the children really do not sleep. And so, how long your child is resting depends on what their needs are. So for the children who need to sleep, they can do that for a while. And the children who don't need to have a short rest time, and then they're up doing quiet activities in the classroom. And then children will have a snack, usually do another short activity in small groups, and go home.
It's actually the most fun classroom.
A lot of fun. Yeah.
Does the screening affect eligibility for the program?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked. Absolutely not. No. Nope. All children are welcome to come to pre-K. The reason that we screen kids is so that we have the supports that they need ready for them when the school year starts, but it does not affect whether they're eligible for the program.
So kid born 11/30/2018, that will be...
Yes. Your child is eligible, so you can apply.
Grace, there are a couple of questions in the chat from our interpreters.
Could you know that, Nanette?
Yes. My child likes to play with his own toys. Is he allowed to bring his own toys to school?
Not usually. No, I think we have a lot of really exciting toys at school, and usually kids are very interested in playing with them. If your child was having a lot of trouble coming to school because of this, then the teacher would be able to help sort something out for a little while. So we might say, oh, you can bring this from home for a couple of weeks until you get used to it. We certainly would do something to try to make your child feel comfortable, but there are a lot of really engaging, interesting materials. So this isn't usually a problem for kids.
Mm-hmm. And we have one more here. If my child requires medicine for diabetes, can this be handled in school, or do I need to come in?
This can absolutely be handled in school. We will need you to come in for a meeting with us before your child starts coming to school so that we can get all of the information that we need. But we'll be able to put a plan together to support your child at school and provide them any help they need.
Great. Thank you.
Are children with birthdays very close to, but after October 15 cutoff, ever permitted to enter kindergarten early?
No, they are not. The date of birth requirements are set by the state, and we need to abide by them.
Could you give that birth date requirement for this 2024 kids?
Yeah, so it's October 16th to October 15th.
And what's that year? October 15th to October 16th?
2018 to 19.
Okay. My child has an allergy and has an EpiPen. Can their teacher help with that if needed?
Yes, absolutely. So just like the question about diabetes, we would set up a meeting with you to make sure that we had all the information we needed to know how to properly take care of your child. And then we would create a plan for your child, and the teacher would absolutely know how to use the EpiPen and be able to do that.
But Nanette, could you help with Juliana's concern about her computer
Yep.
and interpret? Okay. What if a child has a difficult time separating from a parent? Oh, that doesn't happen. What is the protocol of supporting that situation?
I think the only protocol is that we would support. And so that can look really different for different kids based on what their needs are. So the first thing that we would do would be to talk to you and find out what things are comforting to your child, what experience have they had away from you in the past. I think we do different things for different kids. So sometimes a parent might come in the classroom and stay for a few minutes every day. Sometimes we might plan to read a special book that the child really loves every morning, or just to talk to the child about an activity that we know they're going to be excited about as they're leaving the day before. So every once in a while, there's a child who really struggles with this for quite a long time. And so we need to have, a meeting with you to have more of a formal plan. But for the most part, teachers are really good at helping kids with this. And they're really good at talking to parents to figure out, what's the best way to help an individual child. So I think we can plan to work together on that. And usually it's not a problem for long.
And it's not uncommon. It's a
No, not at all. Nope. It's part of why kids go to pre-K, so they can learn how to be at school and be away from their families for a while.
Will there be parent conferences or opportunities to check in with teachers periodically?
Yes, absolutely. So we have formal parent-teacher conferences twice a year, but you are also welcome to talk to the teacher as often as you need to. So you can send emails or texts to teachers. You can greet them at pickup or drop off and talk to them for a little while. I think you'll find that the teachers are really very responsive and really want to do their best to answer any questions and then get any information that they can from you about how to support children.
My child was born January 14, 2020. Can I apply this year for pre-K?
No, you cannot. Your child is not yet old enough for pre-K.
Oh, this is a good question. Will you be having open houses at the beginning of the school year?
We will have an open house for every classroom. When we have them can be a little different depending on the site, but your child will be invited to come to an open house and meet their teacher. And you'll also obviously be invited to come and join them and see the classroom. You'll get to meet other kids and families who are going to be in the same class and have a chance to, play with materials and talk to one another and get to know each other.
Could you reiterate which schools start at 7:40?
Sure. So the schools that start early are Talbot and East End Community School and Children's Odyssey. And it sounds like Longfellow would also.
I think those are the questions. I'm not seeing any more. Any more questions?
I think we've got them all.
I think another one just came in. So the question is, do children who attend pre-K together typically move into a kindergarten class together? I guess what I would say about that is that that's fairly common, that they would be with at least some of the group. The entire class does not move together, but a cohort of kids could be together the following year. Also, when we do place kids outside of their neighborhood school, we try to do that in a cohort. So for example, this year, there's a small group of Rowe students who are placed at Talbot, but they're placed together so that they know each other and can build friendships and then expect, to have those friendships carry over to kindergarten. I know that everyone is hopeful that their child will be placed in their neighborhood school. And we really do our very best to place kids in spots that make good logical sense for them and to minimize transitions whenever possible. So that's what happens for most students. There's another question about whether children have the opportunity to do process art as opposed to product. And the answer is yes, absolutely. We love process art. So what process art means is that We would allow children to use materials and explore with them. So if there's paint available, they would be able to paint in any way that they choose, do lots of projects in ways that are creative. So yes, we absolutely do that.
Is there a street map to see which school is in our neighborhood?
There is, you can find that information on the Portland Public Schools website, but you can also feel free to email us that question as well.
I think the information will be, if you go to the Portland Public Schools website, you go to families and then you go to enrollment. And so there will be different ways of, and different groups of students who are going to be enrolling. So there's pre-K enrollment, and then there is K to 12 enrollment. So all of that are on the Portland Schools website under families. And I believe that that's where the street map is located. You have to type in your address and then the name of the school will show up. I think that's how it is.
Okay. And if for any reason you can't find that, feel free to email and we're happy to help you.
So this is being, I think, you may want to, do your closing statements.
Sure. I think there's one more question that just came up though, Grace, which is, can you send the program website for childcare close to Lyseth? Yes, if you are admitted through the lottery and selected for Lyseth, then we would provide that information at that time. If you want to email us now to ask about it, we certainly could talk to you about programs that we think would have openings.
And there's also, you can also send us email through communications@portlandschools.org. Sometimes that's easier to remember rather than a staff name. So you can send in, your questions on communications@portlandschools.org, and we'll make sure that we forward the information to the right staff member to answer that question. So
I think that's it for questions. So just to reiterate a few pieces of really important information, the lottery opens on January 9th and closes on January 27th. So we really encourage everyone who's interested to apply. You can find the application on our website. And we are available to help families fill out that application if they need it. So please, let us know if that's something that we can support you with. And the program is open to all students who are 4 by October 15th. And we're really excited to have your kids. It's a great program. The teachers are very loving and very excited every year to work with students. The kids make great friends and I think have a really wonderful time together. And we are really, really happy every year that families entrust us to care for their children and to have this opportunity. So thanks very much for considering this, and we hope that everyone will apply.
Thank you very much. And I want to thank our interpreters in Rehab, Altuma, Juliana Bean, Sibel Borrello, Nana Kajinga, Josephine Bizamana, and Shamso Farah. Thank you very much. And for Nanette for doing the hosting on the other side of the tech side, Nanette Dyer Blake. And did I miss anybody? And Betsy Pazjemasi. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you, everybody.
Have a great rest of the evening.
Thanks, everyone.